Hello enemies and book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome to my August wrap up. Before we start the video, I want to have a little bit of transparency with you all. This is going to be a little bit weird for me to talk about, but bear with me anyway. Skip ahead if you don't care, but I wanted to kind of discuss why I haven't been on very much lately. I had a lot of things planned for the month of September and it's almost halfway through and I've only uploaded, well, technically one video, but I've been, for some reason, really struggling lately. So I deal with depression and anxiety, and the past week, my depression has been really, really bad. I haven't been able to record. I haven't really been able to do a lot other than just live, I guess. Went to my doctor's appointment, spent money, which I don't have much money left, which is another reason why I'm really anxious. I have to work soon, which I would love to work, but my health condition that I'm trying to deal with, that my doctor went to see me for, still hasn't been taken away from me. It's been 2 years and I can't figure out what the heck's wrong. My doctor still can't figure it out, and I went to Toronto, 3-hour drive, stayed at a hotel, which is expensive, and then found out that, you know, we can't really do anything. We've tried everything. Wait until your November appointment and then we'll see what happens. So I went for nothing, pretty much. And I don't know, it's just been really stressful. So my depression got really bad, but today I'm doing well. I'm doing good. So hopefully that stays that way. I haven't really been uploading a lot lately because of that, but I'm hoping I can try to film and edit around this time so I can get more things up because it's been a while. So hopefully I can do that, and I'm looking forward to recording again. I really like this community. You're all like my only friends right now, and I have really no one else to talk to, so I miss you all and I want to keep recording, so I'm gonna record some videos, and here's one of them, my wrap-up video. Finally, I read 6 books, including 1 novella, so kind of like 7. I read 2 graphic novels, 4 actual books, and then 1 novella. I'm going to go off of star rating, and I'm going to put the genre of the book so that way you can skip if you don't care. But yeah, I'm going to be basing this off of star rating. I always change the order, but I'm going to go with star rating right now. I will do least. I kind of like doing my favorite to my least favorite. I'm going to go with least favorite to my favorite. If you tell me which one you prefer, if you like someone talking about their least favorite book first up until their most favorited, or you would rather have them talking about their favorite book down to their lowest rated book. I'm curious what y'all say. So this reading month was okay overall. Out of the 7 that I read, I only rated 5. So out of those 5 books, I gave 1 2-star, which is pretty bad for me. I'll get into that soon. 1 3-star, 2 3.5 stars, and 1 4 stars. So I'm going to start with the lowest rated up until the highest rated. Before I talk about my books, I wanted to mention my graphic novels I read. I read Saga Volume 2, I think, and then Monstrous Volume 2. I think I'm gonna kind of put a hold on Monstrous, the series, because I'm just not really interested in it. I'm not a huge graphic novel person. I prefer manga if I have to read illustrated things, or manhwa, or like webtoons and stuff like Heartstopper and that kind of thing. I'd rather read those than graphic novels. I did enjoy Monstrous, but I just didn't really feel like I was interested enough to keep going at the moment. So maybe in the future I'll keep going. And with Saga, I will try to continue it, even though I am struggling with graphic novels right now. I don't know why, but I just want to read more manga and like webtoons. So I'm going to just try to get to Saga in September, but yeah, it's gonna be a really slow crawl to get to that point, but that's okay, right? I don't rate my graphic novels, but yeah, Saga was a reread and Monstrous was the first time reading it, and I did enjoy them both, but I'm not like super interested in reading more of Monstrous right now, and I will be reading Saga in September because the next volume is coming out. Is it September or October? I think it's October. It's crazy. I can't believe it's coming out. I did enjoy my graphic novels for August, but I only read 2. I think I had like 4 planned. I only read 2 though. So yeah, I just wasn't really in the mood for graphic novels. I am not really right now either. So hopefully when I get back into enjoying them, I will go back and read Monstrous and continue it. So for my 2-star of this month, it was a novella. So this is a book that is a series of romance novellas that a bunch of different authors wrote. It was for like a charity event for the wolves. I got it for about $2 or $3 on my Kindle, so I got it because I'm like, well, it helps wolves and it has a bunch of romance in it, so maybe I'll like it. And there's a bunch of really short stories, so it's like little novellas or short stories, and I thought might as well try it. So I read the first book in this and I gave it a 2 stars, so that's a great start, I guess. So this is Wolves and Warriors. This is a series of paranormal and sci-fi romances that all been compiled together into one. The first one I read was Astaroth, the Great Duke of Hell. So this is like a demon romance, and I'm so sorry for my Christian viewers out there because I know there's some of you out there. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was the first one. So it was a bit of an eye-opener. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not religious, but it's a bit like, okay, step back. step back. I don't remember who the author's name is, so I'm gonna put it down in my video right here. There. This short story follows Kaylee, who is a 21-year-old woman who lives with her grandmother. Obviously I can't say a lot because these are literally like under 100 pages long, so it's a little bit of spoilers if I talk too much about it. So it's a woman that lives with her grandmother who is dealing with a lot of, I mean, I'm not sure if her mental health is deteriorating because of her age or if she's always been like this to her, but she's kind of abusive to Kaylee, and Kaylee wants out of this situation, so she Googles how to summon like a demon, and he comes and like helps her out. And it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. I think the reason why I didn't like it the most was because I just didn't really like Kaylee, and I didn't really like the male love interest. Astaroth is the main love interest. I mean, he's interesting, I guess, but I don't know. It was a bit weird, okay? So this is my notes that I wrote while I was reading the book because I forget usually how I felt while I was reading it, so I'm gonna read you what I felt while reading it. One that made me laugh was I wrote, "She's so small and he's so enormous. I hate this trope. I hate the whole he's so big and I'm like this teeny tiny little thing." It's kind of infantilizing, which I don't love. I mean, I get it, like some people like taller guys like with like big hands and stuff. I get that, like I get it. My boyfriend is like this much shorter than me. I've only ever dated him, so I don't have any experience with dating really tall guys. I'm also 5'7", and for some reason growing up a lot of guys were like either not much taller than me or like my height or shorter, so I'm just kind of used to just being around people that aren't humongous. But for some reason in books they love to just remind you she's so tiny and he's like an elephant. Like, please stop. If you mention it a few times I don't mind, but constantly mentioning it just makes it a little bit odd to me in my preference, okay? That's just my preference. Some people like it, I don't. It's just one of my criticisms. At the time of that big of a deal. Another thing is that the main character, Kaylee, is very unsympathetic towards the things that happen to not only her grandmother, but people around her. Now, I can't really get too much into spoilers. I might mention the spoilers and just talk about what it's about because I don't think anyone's really gonna read this. So, yeah, but she just, things happen and she's like, meh, I don't care. Is there a cat? I heard a cat meowing. I need to save the cat. I'm kind of gonna end it off of here right now. I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so if you want to read this for some reason, just skip this, I guess. I'm going to be putting timestamps, and I'm going to be spoilers now. Kaylee gets this demon, Astaroth, brings them into the human world, and then Astaroth shows up. So before he shows up, she makes wishes to get rid of her grandmother, because she hates her grandmother. Her grandmother is abusive to her, so she hates her, and so she's like, I want to get rid of her. So Astaroth, how do I put this lightly? So he takes her out of the house, he sets it on fire, and before, of course, he sets it on fire, he dismembers the grandmother while she's alive, I think, and then burns the place down. Like, Kaylee feels like, I think like a second of like, wow, that's messed up, but then like she doesn't care anymore. And I'm like, that's your grandmother. I get it, she was horrible to you, but that's terrifying. Like, what? If she was going through like dementia or something like that, it's not really her fault. So I don't really know if that's, I don't know, it's just weird. I'm like, this is weird. Like, she sounds a little bit messed up to not me minding this at all, but okay. And then she says, oh, well, I have nowhere to live because my grandmother's gone and the whole apartment was burned down, and Astaroth's like, you could live with me. Okay. Of course, like, things ensue within that. There's also a part where Kaylee gets harassed by these two dudes come up to Astaroth, who's like this huge, bulky, big, tall guy, and they come up to him and try to mug him. Why would you? Fine, okay. Then Astaroth kills them in a pretty like gruesome way, and Kaylee likes it, if you know what I mean. And I was just like, is she okay? I don't think she's okay. Come to find out eventually that she's descendant from a demon, so of course I guess that's why she likes this stuff, and she's not turned off by it, she's turned on by it. I questioned a lot, okay? I questioned a lot. So they just live together now, I guess, and being happy demon people together. I don't know. It was just weird. I do want to continue these books. There's a bunch of them in this one collection, so I'll be reading them and I'll tell you how they are and what they're about and how I feel rated about them. This one was a 2 stars. I don't even know why I didn't give it a 1, but I think there were aspects to it I enjoyed. Maybe, yeah, I don't remember what. Definitely not a fan of this short story. I'm glad I don't have to deal with them again. Imagine they had a second short story in that book though. I don't know if I'd read it. So my second lowest rated book with a 3 stars is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. Okay, I butchered her name last time. I'm trying not to butcher it again. It's so hard for me to say it. I don't know why. I gave this book a 3 stars. I read this in the beginning of last month, so it's going to be harder for me to remember, but I did write notes down because I wanted to kind of talk about what I was thinking during the time I was reading it. I'm also writing down trigger warnings for all the books I'm doing in this review. I'm trying my best to write trigger warnings or content warnings down and putting them in my Goodreads review now that I do booktube videos. I never really did them before, but because I do booktube, I think it's kind of like important that I try to have people be aware of the content warnings within the books. So all of these, I think at least the main books have content warnings. So let's continue and see how I felt about this book. So I gave it 3 stars. I did not dislike this book overall. I did like it. I think the reason why I gave it a lower rating was simply because I think I just grown out of YA a lot, and it's really unfortunate. This definitely felt like a YA book. I'm sure they're like mystery and thriller books that are for adults or something that I would probably like a bit more. So I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it, and I'm curious if the TV show is good. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. I will say I did not predict the ending. I had a few ideas. Originally, I knew it probably wasn't going to be Nate because it was too obvious. So that pretty much just dwindled it down to 3 of them. I kept going between who it was. I think Cooper and Bronwyn were my most... I expected it to be them. I will obviously not say who or what happened, but it was interesting enough. It's a group of high schoolers who go into detention room, and one of them ends up dying. And then of course we are trying to find out who is the one that killed them, and that's pretty much the entire premise of the book. I don't really have much to say because it was pretty much just that premise, and I did like it overall, but yeah, it wasn't really like my thing. I think the romance was unnecessary, especially during the beginning. Well, there were like all these things happening and they're like traumatized, but somehow they were still like looking at each other and like, oh, she's really, really beautiful. Well, yeah, someone just died, so maybe we should like taper it down a bit. But the romance may need to be put on hold, you know, just a tiny bit. Like, I'd be so traumatized if I were these kids, but they seemed like fine. I'd be really like messed up, but they were okay. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers right now. So I'm just gonna talk about what I thought was going to happen. So just letting you know, time stamping again, so you can skip ahead if you want to. I'm gonna read my notes to tell you what I thought as I was reading it. So when I first wrote, in the very beginning, I said, Bronwyn is my biggest suspect. Mr. Avery setting the kids up, maybe? Or could it be Abby and Cooper doing it together? Or maybe it's Simon faking his death like Pretty Little Liars. Maybe he was like pretending to be dead and like still writing his blog. I also thought that Cooper might have been the one that writing the blog for him. I don't know why, because it was because of that one part where, because in the blog they put it up and the actual truth behind his lie was hidden. So I thought it was Cooper that was doing this, because like, why would they cover up the fact that he's, you know, I'm not gonna say it in case, but why would they hide that if it's not Cooper? Obviously I was wrong, but you know, that's what I thought. 84 pages in, most likely it's Cooper. He has the most to lose. He was the last up when the car crashed. I literally read the beginning like 5 times to see who I thought it was. So he was the last one to stand up when the car was crashing, so I thought maybe he was in the back, you know. Was the one who looked for EpiPens and couldn't find them. I thought he like hid them all. Predicted that Cooper was cheating on his girlfriend with blank. I figured that out like a little bit beforehand because it made sense to me. Going through like a plethora of ideas. First I thought it was Bronwyn, then I really thought it was Cooper, and then I realized it can't be Cooper, so I was just like confused by it all. I knew that it was probably none of them. I just had a feeling it was none of them because like these books do that a lot, where they just like say that it's one of them and then it ends up just being none of them. It happens quite a lot in books because they don't want you to suspect any of the ones that are actually, you know, being pointed at. So I kind of thought maybe the ending would be the way it is. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, but I did have a feeling that none of them were responsible, and that's pretty much how it played out. But yeah, enjoyed it, 3 stars. I don't think I would read the second book, but I understand why people like it, and I think if I read this like 4 years ago, I would have absolutely loved it. I do need to get into more thrillers and mysteries though, maybe adult. If you have any suggestions for adult thrillers or mysteries, please let me know, because I think I want to try getting into them. And if I get them in my Sims TBR videos, I'm gonna have to find some. So yeah, if you want to recommend me any I would like for adult books, please give me some recs. I would love that. This one I'm not going to talk too much about. This is City of Lies by Sam Hawke. I did a whole video on it, a whole vlog on it, reading vlog on it, and I gave this a 3.5 stars, rounded it up to a 4. Like I said, I have a whole video on it. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but this was my library lotto pick, and I really did like it. Enjoyed a lot of aspects of it. I think I might possibly continue the series. I think I really like the sieges in it, and I haven't really read many books with sieges in it, but I really enjoy that aspect of it. I kind of want to read more now with that kind of fantasy element. I mean, Mistborn did a really good job with it, especially the last book. Really enjoyed that. So I think that I just really need to read more books like that. This is a adult high fantasy series that follows characters, and there is that follows characters, really? There is sieges, there are rebels, and there are people trying to get past the walls. There's death, there is treachery, there is mystery. It is pretty cool. I liked it a lot. It's something I never heard of. I really liked it. I don't really have anything to talk about because, like I said, this was a whole video on it and I'm not going to go over it. I talked for like 40 minutes about it. That's enough for me. So yeah, I think I might continue the series. I'm still pondering that, but right now I think I might try it after I get past my other like 100 books. Next is Robin Hobb's Assassin's Apprentice. This is the first book in the Farseer trilogy. I gave this also a 3.5 out of 5. I believe I'm rounding it up to a 4. Am I rounding it to a 4 or a 3? Oh no, I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it up to a 4. And I think I only brought it up to a 4 because of the ending. I would have probably given it a 3 if I was putting that along the beginning and the middle. I just didn't love the middle and beginning. I think it was just hard for me to really grasp it. Like I said, I'm really new to adult fantasy, and this is like a little bit more of a classic fantasy, just a bit. So the writing and everything might have just threw me off. I actually read it pretty easily, but like I wasn't like completely enamored by it. I wrote that I was drifting off really easily. As I was reading, it was just hard to focus as I was reading, and that just made it hard for me to read it, obviously, with absorbing it and all that. I think my favorite part were the characters. I didn't really care about a lot of the politics at least at the start. I really liked the characters though, and Fitz I really liked, especially in the later half of the book. And then I also loved the Fool. I think the Fool is my favorite character. They're so interesting and I just really want to see more of them, and I know that there will be more of them considering there's books later on in the series that have like the Fool in it, like just with the title. So I'm hoping that's him or hoping that's them. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them more because I really like the Fool. I'm really bad at recapping books, but this is about Fitz. We kind of start with him when he's really young, and then as he grows up to learn about different things like politics, magic. He becomes an assassin. He learns about poisons and how to kill people efficiently. There's a lot of animal type aspects to this book. I won't really say much obviously because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a really cool aspect with Fitz and animals, and I can understand why people say there are animal deaths, because I know that following the series is going to get a lot worse, because obviously the way that Fitz is with his animals will continue to grow, and I know that he will suffer because these poor animals, they're just innocent. They're innocent. They don't deserve any of this. I really, really want to keep seeing what happens with Fitz. But yeah, I really am enjoying it. Like I said, the ending was really well done. I really liked it, and I'm looking forward to continuing this. I think I'm not going to be continuing it for a while though. I think until like January. I have almost all my TBR set almost until January. Yeah, I'm way too much of a planner. So I don't think I'm going to be able to continue until January. So I will see how I feel, but this was a good book. I just think it was harder for me personally to wrap my head around, but I did like it, and I'm hoping I will like them more as they go. The last book is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I gave this a 4 stars. This is technically my favorite book of the month. It is weird to say that though, because I don't know. It feels, I get it. I actually liked this book. Overall, I liked this book. I have a reading vlog that I'm going to be putting up of this book, so I'm not going to be talking too much about it. I don't want to spoil my own reading vlog, which is kind of weird to say. There's going to be a whole spoiler section where I read it and like update as I read it, and there's going to be an end where I talk about how I feel about it, spoilers, and then non-spoilers. For this, I'm not going to talk about spoilers at all. I forgot to mention this is my emotional pick for like, I think it was like a month ago for my Sims choice, and then Assassin's Apprentice was like 2 months ago for emotional pick, and then One of Us Is Lying was my thriller pick, I think, for a month ago. Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place, but my Sims choices were a lot of these books, and this one was my emotional book for the month of August, I think. So this book I gave 4 stars. This is an interesting book. So it is kind of romance, I guess. Like, it's hard to even say that. It's more just like romance and domestic abuse. Like, that's pretty much all it is. And reading this book got me, yeah, I got a little bit emotional. Mostly near like the end, but I think the main emotion I felt while reading this book was anger. I was all angry a lot of the time. In my vlog I show you why, and I talk about why, so that'll be coming up actually next after this video. Just reading this book, I had so much emotion. I really did like the writing, oddly enough. There were parts obviously I didn't love, but I did like it. I think I would like more of Colleen Hoover's books. I do plan on only getting them from the library. I don't really want to support her. Like, she does things I'm like iffy about. It's like interesting. This book has really good with showing the victims of circumstances, but also showing that even victims can perpetuate negative things. Like, it even says in the book that people aren't necessarily bad people, they do bad things, and I do agree with that for the most part. Like, a lot of people that do bad things aren't intentionally trying to be bad people. I feel like a lot of the time they are just victims of circumstance and how they were raised, and I definitely see that within this book, but it doesn't really equate necessarily just forgiving them and allowing it to happen just because they're a victim themselves. I'm not gonna talk more about this book. I'm done. I'm gonna have a whole vlog on it, so I don't need to ramble too much about it. So I think I'm gonna end that there, and I'm gonna end this video here. Let me know if you read any of these books, if you liked them, if you rated them anything, because like I know a lot of people loved like Robin Hobb and Colin Hoover, and I didn't give them like 5 stars, and one of us is lying. I feel like is this like an unpopular opinion video? I hope not. I'm sorry, I don't love everyone's books. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's it for the month of September. I had a decent month. I didn't hate it. I think I actually enjoyed it pretty well. Like, most of these were really good, other than that one 2-star book that was interesting. I won't be able to finish all the books I wanted to finish this month though. Unfortunately, I just had so much things happening, and when I'm depressed, I can't read a lot, which is weird because it's my escapism. I just can't really do anything. I have no motivation to do anything, so I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to this month already. It's only like a week in, but from what I can tell right now, I won't be able to finish all of my books. From what I can finish, I'm gonna be looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you all for watching as usual. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're enjoying your reading. No matter how much you read, be proud of yourself for it. Even if you read like a page in a day, be proud of yourself for it. If you're going through a hard time like I have recently, just like hold on. It's so hard, but just hold on. Stay safe, stay cool. It's almost autumn. Let's enjoy it. It's almost time for the nice pumpkin stuff, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Have a great month. Happy reading, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.